I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons, my Bibliosprand, Bibliohowlers, and Bibliomancers. Thank you so much for supporting my hobby and passion even more. It means so much to me. Hi everyone, Patek here. Today's video will be SFF Spotlight episode 9. Yes, the 9th episode of SFF Spotlight, a series of videos where I talk about new book release, a new special edition being announced, and new book announcement in the adult science fiction and fantasy genre. And today we have more than 20 topics to talk about. And the first one, let's get started immediately. And the first one is that Jade Legacy by Fonda just won Aurora Award for the best novel. This is a great win for Fonda because Jade City, the first book in the Greenbone saga, also won the same award in 2018. So this is practically a full circle for her. And I think that's amazing. And of course, in my opinion, super well deserved. And also, speaking of the Greenbone saga, Subterranean Press has announced that they are planning to release the main novels of their edition as well. So yes, prepare to save money because this one will be pricey. And I know that I will try my best to get myself a copy of, well, Jade City, Jade War, and also Jade Legacy Subterranean Press edition when they're out. And I don't think this will be coming out anytime soon. I know that they're going to release Jade Shards first, a collection of short stories in the Greenbone saga. So I think this one will take place after that. And moving on to the next topic, let's talk about trailers and also TV show announcement. And the first trailer that I'm going to show you is for a book, not for a movie, not for a TV show. It is for a book or a series, and it is from today's sponsor, which is the super awesome Podium Audio. If you use a lot of audiobooks and also you read a lot of self-published fantasy or sci-fi books, I think you will have heard about Podium Audio, and I'm really grateful that I got to collaborate with them again, and this time they're giving me the chance to show you the trailer that they made for King's Dark Tidings in preparation for the release of Book 5, Dragons and Demons. So yeah, without further ado, here is the trailer for King's Dark Tidings.
He goes by many names. And he abides by rules that bind him. It matters little what you call him. It is not a person. He is a weapon.
So yeah, what do you think about it? If you're a fan of King's Dark Tidings, a series that I haven't read but I'm certainly looking forward to reading someday, make sure to mark your calendar because this book, the long-awaited Book 5, Dragons and Demons, is being released on September 6th. Now let's talk about TV show trailers, and the first one is for Pantheon from AMC Production. The first trailer for Pantheon, an animated TV show adaptation from Ken Liu's collection of short stories, has been released. In one of my previous SFF Spotlight videos, I told you about the teaser for this Pantheon, and now the full trailer is out, and I think it looks absolutely incredible. And this one is adapted from Hidden Girl and Other Stories. I think this animated TV show has a great chance of being awesome. So yeah, make sure to check it out when it's out. And the next teaser I want to tell you about, this one is not actually related to books, but I really have to talk about it because I really love the video game. So this is The Last of Us. The first teaser for The Last of Us TV show adaptation has been revealed, and it's only a few seconds, but I think it looks really good. Pedro Pascal really works well as Joel, and Bella Ramsey as Ellie looks really great as well. I think both of them will be amazing at The Last of Us TV show adaptation. And lastly, the last trailer I'm going to mention will be for The Rings of Power. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. The new official trailer is out, and I must say that I am a bit worried about this one. I know that this visually looks stunning and the music will be good, not the music in the trailer, but I am worried whether the execution of the story will be great or not. But as always, I will watch the TV show first, and well, I will draw my conclusion from that. And the next topic is about TV show announcement, and this one will be for The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. Based on Bernard Cornwell's Warlord Chronicles, The Winter King is an epic but intimate 10-part returning series, which will shoot in Wales and the West Country in 2022. Portraying a revisionist take on the well-loved Arthurian legends, the series follows Arthur Pendragon as he evolves from outcast son to legendary warrior and leader. The Winter King is set in the 5th century, long before Britain was united in a land of warring factions and tribes when the world was brutal and lives were often fleeting. The series is being produced by Bad Wolf in association with One Big Picture, with international distribution being handled by Sony Pictures Television. I am a huge fan of the Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell, so I think this is great news. Plus, the Last Kingdom TV show adaptation was incredible, and I'm quite confident that this one will be great as well. So the next topic, well, I don't know whether this is news or not. I don't even know whether this is Spotlight or not. It feels like gossip, but you know what? I will just talk about it. But I will not talk about this one in long details, because talking about this, well, this is for Doors of Stone again. So in my last episode of SFF Spotlight, I pretty much just talked and, well, criticized Rothfuss for not delivering on his promise for his promised chapter for Doors of Stone. And somehow, a day or two after my SFF Spotlight video, I saw this news that apparently Mercedes Lackey confirmed on Quora, which is very active apparently. She confirmed that Doors of Stone has been submitted to the editor, Betsy Wolheim. I would just say any news regarding Doors of Stone is like being in a toxic relationship with Patrick Rothfuss. I just don't know what to say anymore, but pretty much this. Just watch Jay from Captured in Words video. I agree with practically everything he said in that video. But from me, long story short, unless there is an announcement of a release date from the publisher, not Rothfuss, I don't think there is anything to get excited about. Just keep your expectations in check. The next two topics are related to Orbit books, and the first one is for Ruination by Anthony Reynolds. This is the first novel in the League of Legends franchise, and finally we have a look at the standard hardcover. Yes, the finished standard hardcover, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't know who the artist yet, but I saw on Twitter that the hardcover comes with a reversible dust jacket, illustrated end papers, and also interior artworks. Well done, Orbit. Seriously, well done. This really looks like a deluxe edition, but apparently this is a standard hardcover, so every hardcover comes with this reversible dust jacket and also interior artworks. So yeah, amazing. I cannot wait to get my own copy on this. I'm not a fan of a League of Legends video game, but I am a huge fan of Arcane. I've watched it twice already, and now I look forward to reading the first novel in a League of Legends. And the next news from Orbit Books is that they have revealed the new cover art to Ashfire King by Chelsea Abdullah. Yes, this is the sequel to Stardust Thief, a book that I haven't read, but I've heard a lot of great things from a lot of readers this year. The cover design is once again done by Lisa Marie Pompilio, and the cover art is illustrated by Mike Heath. I think both the Stardust Thief and also Ashfire King looks beautiful, and I hope to, well, read this series one day. And actually there is another cover reveal from Orbit Books. This is for the last two new cover reveals for the last two books in the Witcher saga, The Lady of the Lake and Season of Storms. Both of them, the new cover reveals have been revealed. The Lady of the Lake is illustrated by Melanie Delon. Season of Storms is illustrated by Tyler Jacobson. As always, these are designed by Lauren Panepinto. The entire new Witcher cover art have been revealed, and I must say, they are some of the best cover art in fantasy from some of the best artists. Well done, Orbit Books, on this. And remember, Golangs, or the UK edition, with the same cover art will be coming next year. The next cover reveal is for a self-published book, and it is for The Heavenly Sword by Alice Poon. The cover art is done by Wen, and the cover design is done by Sylvia. I think this is a fantastical martial arts plus alternate history plus Chinese mythology. If I'm not mistaken, I think the author mentioned that this is a love letter to Jin Yong's novel. So yeah, I look forward to reading this someday, plus the cover art looks really nice. And speaking of self-published fantasy book, E.J. Doble, the author behind Fangs of War, his debut novel, just announced that starting from today, it will be a Fangs of War promotion week. Fangs of War is his debut grimdark fantasy novel, and I haven't read it, but I have actually featured Fangs of War on one of my early SFF Spotlight video, and I look forward to reading this someday. And apparently this book, Fangs of War, which I've heard many great things about, will be free for 5 days until 28th of August, and there will be more bonuses as well. As always, I will leave the link to the details in the description down below. And speaking of free books, well, Brandon Sanderson just announced that Shadows of Self, the second book in Mistborn Wax and Wayne series, will be free in Tordotcom until 26th of August. I love Shadows of Self. I will be doing my second read of this book probably tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, I look forward to reading this again. I hope that I will love this one even more than my first time reading through it. And if you haven't read Shadows of Self, well, this is your chance of getting it. The next two topics will be about Kickstarter, and the first one is about The Outlaw Mage by K.S. Veloso. So the Kickstarter for Outlaw Mage has been fully funded already, but this is the first book in a fantasy series about a young outlaw who must save her family by impersonating the most powerful man in the Empire. Outlaw Mage is a spin-off series set in the same world as the Chronicles of the Beach Queen and Legacy of the Lost Mage books, featuring an all-new POV character with her own storyline. I will leave the link to the Kickstarter in the description. And speaking of Kickstarter, the next topic is about The Pale King by Ben Gelly. No, the Kickstarter isn't out yet, but yes, this is coming. For those of you who keep asking me about where they could get the written, his debut novel, the written illustrated edition, well, this is your chance. The Pale King is the sequel to it, and on this Kickstarter, you will have the chance to get the first book as well. I will let you know the date when Ben Gelly has revealed it, well, to the public. The next three topics are all special editions from the Broken Binding. I will just, well, tell about them in quick succession. So the first one is for the Children of Time trilogy by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I enjoyed this trilogy. I think the first book is still the best of the trilogy because I still haven't read the last book, Children of Memory, but I love Children of Time, and I don't think Children of Ruin was as good as the Children of Time, but I look forward to reading Children of Memory, and I think this edition by The Broken Binding looks absolutely amazing and beautiful. Then The Broken Binding also announced that they will be releasing The Blood of Outcasts by Daniel Smith. I own this Asian-inspired fantasy in hardcover because Daniel Smith has sent a copy to me, but I still haven't read this one and I look forward to reading it. But if you're looking to get yourself a special edition of this book, well, check out the Broken Binding edition of The Blood of Outcasts. And finally, the Broken Binding also announced that they will be releasing the Pillar of Peace trilogy by Tom Dumbrell. This is a collector edition omnibus of the entire Pillar of Peace trilogy, and it will be 872 pages long, and it will be priced at £55. It will feature a new cover art by Katrina Paints, and it will also have exclusive internal illustrations by Katrina Paints again, and exclusive cartography by Sunset Cartographer. I actually own the first book, The Look of a King, for quite a while now, but I still haven't read this one. I think me and Tom Dumbrell has debated about this quite a lot of times, and we'll see. We'll see when I will eventually get to reading The Look of a King. But with this edition coming, if I do get myself a copy, I will definitely have to read the entire trilogy, which I already plan to anyway. And finally, the last few topics I will be talking about are all noteworthy release, and there are quite a lot. There are quite a lot of topics to talk about. First, Babel by R.F. Kuang, which I consider to be one of the best standalone novels that I've read, and it is easily the best dark academia novel that I've read, is finally out now. I really love the Poppy War trilogy, but I think R.F. Kuang has outdone herself with this standalone novel. I think this is, without a doubt, her best work. So yeah, make sure to check it out. And also, The First Binding by R.R. Virdi is another book that I love, and it is out now as well. By the way, because many people kind of misunderstand about this, well, The First Binding is not R.R. Virdi's debut novel. This is like his 10th novel. Before The First Binding, he has released a lot of self-published fantasy books, mostly in urban fantasy. But The First Binding is actually his traditional published debut and also his epic fantasy debut. But it is not his debut novel. It is not the first book that he has ever published. And the same goes for the next book I'm going to be talking about, and that is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This book is out for a few months now. For 6 months, I think. The hardcover was released in February, but the paperback will be released on August 25th. So yeah, tomorrow. So if you're looking to get yourself a copy of the paperback of The Justice of Kings, well, this is your chance. And there is another book being released tomorrow, and so far this one has been gaining a lot of great reception, and it is The Bonds of Chaos by Zach Argyle. This is the third book in the Threadlight trilogy. I think this is a Stormlight Archive and Lightbringer inspired fantasy. but I haven't read this one. I look forward to reading this probably next year. But if you're interested in checking out a Stormlight Archive inspired trilogy, well, I think this will be for you. Plus, I've heard so many great things about the second book and also the third book. And finally, the last noteworthy release I want to mention, it is for The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This one will be released on the 30th of August, so next week. Yeah, next Tuesday. I haven't read anything by Simon Jimenez, but I plan to read his debut novel. I think it is a sci-fi novel called The Vanished Bird in December, if possible. The Vanished Bird has been highly praised by so many people I know, and also, well, The Spear Cuts Through Water is, I think it is his first fantasy novel, and this one has been gaining a lot of great reviews as well. I have actually owned an ARC of this one for quite a while now, but as always, well, my ARC and review copies are out of control, and well, I haven't read this one yet. My plan right now is to read The Vanished Bird first, as I said, in December, and then after that, read The Spear Cuts Through Water. Right now, I'm still on a book ban, but I might end up getting a hardcover of this one because my friend Leah just showed to me the gorgeous end paper for this hardcover. I mean, take a look at this. This looks absolutely beautiful. The beautiful cover art and the gorgeous end paper is done by Simon Padre. So yeah, that's it for me today. That's the end of SFF Spotlight Episode 9. Which news excites you the most? And as always, thank you so much for watching and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.